So the Fed kind of surprised us. You, earlier this morning, just a few moments ago, said you think that Fed Chairman Jay Powell is great, that he did a great job.
Yeah.
You said you were on an island. You felt like you were on an island by yourself. Now, I can tell you were not. Because I spoke.
There's a single person who has joined me in the idea that Powell knows what he's doing.
Okay. I spoke with David Tepper.
Smart guy.
A few moments ago, right before we came on the air. He thinks the Fed did a good job yesterday. That's what he told me.
David Tepper?
He thinks he did a good job. That they show they're not asleep at the wheel. And by the way, he also said, I think this is a direct quote. I think the stock market is still fine for now.
Okay, can I just explain who Dave Tepper is? Dave Tepper, who taught me how to trade junk bonds. Dave Tepper is the only one of the people who comes on air actually running money, billions of dollars, and admits if he's wrong, but has been so far more right than wrong. He even predicted the pandemic down to the day. This guy is game. How'd you get that? That's fantastic.
He thinks what they did was smart. That it's still a highly accommodative Fed.
Then there you go.
Right? We're talking 2020.
So he likes the banks? Did he give you? Because he usually actually has ideas. Or the S&P?
We didn't go there.
Why not? Let's get him on the phone.
You want to talk S&P? I mean, he said, I think the stock market is still fine. I mean, that sort of tells you what he thinks about the S&P, I suppose. Well, at least for the time being. 2023 is when they're going to hike rates, maybe twice. Okay, what year is it now? It's 2021, right?
2021, yeah.
All right, so 2023 is still a ways off. It's still an accommodative, a very accommodative Fed.
Well, there it is. He said what people should be saying. Accommodative Fed. If things get really hot, we'll do something. Pragmatic guy. He's done a good job. One of the things that Dave Tepper has liked about the Fed chief is that he thinks he's smart and good and deserves the benefit of the doubt. And you know what? Tepper is no nonsense. He doesn't come on here with an ideological approach. He is not about preserving his wealth. He's about making money. And I like that. He is the most approachable billionaire in America today.
He didn't think that they were going to taper. They didn't. He thinks they probably will later in the year. And you know what? He also thinks if they do that, that it's good because it means the economy is in a really good spot, that they'd actually be able to do that.
Let's buy them. Let's buy them. We should be buying. That's what's going to happen. That's going to turn the futures around.
Well, you
know that I asked him a question once after he gave me the rap. I said, what do you think about playing Christian McCaffrey this weekend? He said, I don't even know what you're talking about. He owns by the way, he owns the Panthers.
Right.
But when it comes to money, there is no better. When I was sick and I had the back problem, called me, what's going on? Holy cow. The guy was so giddy. He's like, how's your back? Let me tell you how I feel about the market. Like I wanted to kind of tell him. This guy is different from all the people who came on air in the last 24 hours who are talking about spots and dots, which is a course I aced at Harvard. It's an art class.
I got you.
He really just basically said one thing. When he says these things, ignore everyone else because they're just speaking ideological and go with Tepper.
You said yesterday at the top of Mad Money, which I listened to, Powell was being prudent. That's the word you used.
Yeah.
You said investors should, quote, stay the course.
Yes.
Buy stocks that would do well in a low-rate environment.
Yes.
And the inflation hawks have no credibility.
That's exactly what Tepper's saying. How did you get Tepper? I tried to get Tepper.
That just worked out this time.
I had Tepper.
Sometimes you get him.
I think it's because of the Sixers.
Sometimes you don't.
He knows I'm a loser. He's not going to call some guy who's a loser. That is fantastic get. And what it does is it puts everybody else on notice that the guy who's a trigger puller, who has billions of dollars, who would be quick to say Powell is really doing a bad job, is giving him the green light, and he's giving people at home the green light. And that is the best get that I've heard since 2:30 or whenever, when they were heckling him. You know, Mr. Chairman, let me ask the same question for the 40th time, if you don't mind.
Well, let's not also act, though, that the Fed didn't do anything yesterday, right?
No,
they did something that was a bit of a surprise to the market.
No, it shouldn't have been a surprise. I mean, I got the Albertson CEO on everything. You know, there's inflation. We got a lot of stimulus, maybe too much stimulus for some. But Powell acknowledged that. He's going to wait and see. What is Powell supposed to do? Come into the conference in an 18-wheeler and says if we could get more drivers, the price of the inflation would go lower? No, he's a practical man, and so is Tepper, and that tells me that people should be buying, not selling.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.